This week I'm back in Northampton, catching up with two boys who drove me to destruction.
A year ago, Andrew and Ian wanted a new house, but they had zero deposit and they knew zero about the property market. So it was up to Phil and I to put those two through a first-time buyer's boot camp, and it wasn't pretty.
I wouldn't be prepared to leave Birmingham and move into something like this. I really wouldn't.
If they choose not to listen to our advice, that's absolutely fine. We've given it.
It's not fine.
It's always been hard for first-time buyers. They have to find the money, overcome their nerves, and make the right decision. That was the case for Andrew and Ian. But after 4 years of renting, they were sick and tired of lining their landlord's pockets.
In renting accommodation, it is throwing dead money away, as we have been now for 4 years. So it's time to get ourselves on the property ladder.
When we first met Andrew and Ian, they were living in a pristine pad and loving their rental luxuries. But they had spent £30,000 in rent between the two of them over 4 years. Ouch.
25-year-old Andrew Donald is a retail manager in Birmingham, and 26-year-old Ian Salmon is a staff nurse in Northampton.
The boys rent in Birmingham, but house prices in the city are way out of their league. They've decided to up sticks and buy a place in the more reasonably priced Northampton.
I've got a lot of history there from going to university. Still got friends there. I do like the Northampton pubs and bars. It's got a good buzz about it, a good vibe.
I work in at Northampton General on the ward I work at the minute. I've got a good working relationship with the other nurses.
The house we're living in at the moment, I think it's beautiful. It's a modern 2-bedroom house.
It's exactly what we
want. And if we could, I'd like to just pick it up and move it to Northampton.
So, they want a modern 2-bedroom house in Northampton, close to the town centre for the nightlife and train station for Andrew's commute back to his work in Birmingham. They have a budget of £120,000, but there's a snag, and it's a big one.
Where's your deposit? What have you done with it?
I think because we both were students, obviously a lot of debts from those days really, so we have got a lot of loans, so there's just no physical way of getting a deposit.
You haven't been able to save for a deposit, which means it's 100% mortgage, which is fine, but that does mean that it affects the choices that you can make.
Yeah, ideally we'd like to move to a property that requires just the basic...
Ready to move
Yeah.
Kirstie and I usually advise first-time buyers, buy something that you can adapt, something that you can add value to during the time that you live there. The market's not going to be racing away over the next few years, and if you want to outperform that market, you've got to find another way of doing it. So, we've got a dilemma on our hands. Buying a property that needs work would be the way forward.
But Andrew and Ian have a penchant for modern, well-finished houses. Let's hope they'll take our advice on board.
I know we always say this, but it really feels like we've got our work cut out this time.
Oh, Phil, it's not the search that's difficult. It's their lack of financial acumen.
And they've got debts.
And they've got huge debts.
But there are many, many first-time buyers around the country that are in the same problem.
Armed with the boys' £120,000 budget and not a penny more, we've been searching for a 2-bed property to protect Andrew and Ian from future financial troubles.
And for my money, our first property would do just that.
This Victorian terrace is on the market for just under £115,000. I know they're mad for new builds, but I reckon this traditional home could be a winner.
All set?
Yeah. Ready to go?
This is it. A year ago, this property would have been snapped up by a developer. This house doesn't view very well. It's not lived in, it's scruffy, it hasn't even been cleaned. Without spending any money, you can paint, you can clean, you can improve. And that in itself would add a few percentage points to the value of the house. What's your initial thought?
First impressions, it's just not got the wow factor.
These boys are plain unrealistic. They've got a lot to learn.
You can't afford that wow factor.
Yeah.
There are houses which you can add value to. There are houses which can outperform the market, which can protect you from the possibility of a downturn. Those houses are not brand spanking new wow factor
Do you
properties.
believe it's properties such as this one?
Andrew and Ian could cheaply and easily create the wow factor here if they would just listen to our advice.
You don't need to change the carcass of the kitchen. It's all here.
Ian, would you want to spend money here?
I really don't think we've got extra money to
That's
spend.
the problem.
But it's not big money that's needed. A bit of hard graft would cheaply spruce up the inside to make it a home.
And as a bonus, the house's value rises, protecting them from any drop in property prices, and they save money by not paying a developer's premium. You both recognise that you haven't been that financially astute in the past, and you can't continue like that if you're going to own a property and commit to that. You have to take control. You have to be responsible about where you spend your money and how you spend it. And this is a method by which you can
Be in control.
be in control and do something really sensible.
And why?
No, okay, I appreciate that.
The boys are skating on thin ice. If they choose not to listen to our advice, that's absolutely fine. We've given it.
Fine.
We've given it. Then they don't seem to be taking it on board.
I just feel like I would prefer to carry on renting than live in a place like this. That's my gut feeling.
Makes me want to weep.
You just want it all perfect for when you move in.
That's my life, that's my style.
Would you take that risk? Have you ever taken that risk? Have I ever taken that risk?
We're doing, Kirstie, don't get upset. We're doing our job. We pointed out the pitfalls.
I wouldn't be prepared to leave Birmingham and move into something like this. I really wouldn't.
So what do you reckon then?
Initial thoughts for me, I do appreciate that it's got good investment potential, but I wouldn't be willing to do any work for myself.
I feel like it's such a long way to have to move on from where we are now, and I just don't feel like I'd be happy
He's not willing
at all.
to stay in a place like this for any amount of time.
Clearly, these two are a bit work shy when it comes to doing up properties. And if they're so dead set on a modern house with wow factor, we'll show them one. But it has to be one that will hold its value.
And we found an exceptional modern build, on the market at just under 120,000. But we've had to move further out of town, away from the bars and clubs we know they love.
It's in Stonyhurst Mews near Kingsthorpe. The real plus is that this is a desirable area.
If they don't mind being away from the buzz of town, this low-maintenance option could be right up their street. In fact, it could be their street.
Anyone recognise this?
It's practically our house, yeah.
It's our house, but in a different town.
It's just been transported, I think.
Yeah.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, I think
Very
it's a
good,
thing,
yeah.
Now, this really should feel very similar to where you currently live.
It feels exactly the same, actually, yeah.
It's the same layout.
Just different furniture.
You know your way around this one.
I think we could tell you, couldn't we, where to go in here?
This place looks rock solid and the boys would feel right at home.
You obviously prefer modern. Why is that?
I think it's because we like this clean, fresh look when we move into somewhere, and the being able just to move into a property without having to do any major work as such.
So, no work and no vision required. Come on, boys, is that really what you want?
How does it feel being in a house which is so like yours?
I really like this house as it's so similar to the house we love in Birmingham.
Do you think the location is going to blow this house for Andrew?
Yeah, possibly.
What's in your mind as far as the distance is concerned then?
At the moment, the way I'm probably feeling that I'd be prepared to make that little bit further journey daily just because I'll be living in this house.
No surprise the boys like this one. They don't have to lift a finger. We've been getting on quite well. Andrew seems to like it. How about you guys?
Well, Ian's 90% sure that Andrew won't like it.
Andrew won't like it.
Was you? Why?
Because of the commute, I thought that perhaps it'd be too much with going on the bus than on the train.
Yeah, it's all about the house, though, I think.
Yeah.
At the moment, because it's exactly the same as what we're used to, I think I'm prepared at the minute, even though I've not properly thought it through, to do that extra commute. But obviously, when we think it through, maybe it'll all be a bit different. But I'm keen to see other properties still, what are nearer to the train station, and maybe, hopefully, totally different to this, because then maybe that will change my mind completely. But at the moment, I'm 95% sure that I like this house.
95%? That's enough for me.
Well, not for me. I'm determined to stop them thinking short term and want them to look at places with real potential. And do you know what? I'll make them listen.
They have said they'd like to see properties closer to the town centre. And, wait for it, not just modern ones.
This is great news because there's simply no way these two could afford a modern build in town.
Our next appointment could be more their thing, especially the great location.
We're in Abington, right in the town centre.
I really like the buzz of this place because there is a lot of pubs and a lot of socialising that can be done down in this sort of area. So.
That is brilliant.
It's another Victorian 2 up and 2 down, but very different from the one they've already rejected, and it's really worth showing them.
It's on the market at just under their $120,000 budget, and hopefully they'll recognise this house has potential.
Now, the walls are apricot, I think that's a polite way of putting it, and the carpet is aged. But you can see under the carpet is the floorboards, and behind this wood chip wallpaper are good solid walls. But this house needs a lot less work.
I really like it, first impressions.
Oh, great.
I like
Good
it.
potential.
Compared to definitely the other property. This, I think, is more to what my expectations would have been for a property in Abington, and we've still got the opportunity to obviously increase value by doing
You
this.
definitely have, without a shadow of doubt.
We'll come around to your way of thinking now.
Do my ears deceive me? Adding value? I think we're getting somewhere.
Do you still have a preference for modern?
I think it's kind of gone down a little bit now, actually, because we can see that we could actually put that modern feel into this place and spend, you know, certain time concentrating maybe on the kitchen and then work our way through the house and eventually lead up into the bathroom and bedrooms and stuff. So.
Absolutely agree.
At last, these two are listening and learning. Andrew can see that traditional terraces can have the benefits of modern properties.
And you can make a bit of a profit on them too. Finally, we're cooking on gas.
It's got potential.
I was going to say I can easily see the potential again for this one because it needs less work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the work that horrifies you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I want to be relaxing. I don't want to be coming home and spending hours doing it. And it also the money as well. But this just seems so much nicer than the last one.
Bingo, they're converted. They can see this house works equally as well as the new build.
The house has got a nice feel to it. I can see its potential, where in the other one I just couldn't.
Can we just say that this is a maybe?
Definitely a maybe.
Yeah,
Definitely a
definite
maybe.
maybe.
Definitely maybe.
Another maybe is just not good enough. I think these guys have now got the vision to see real potential, and I think we can stretch their imaginations further.
Our next appointment's in Far Cotton. It's not as buzzy as the last location and a bit further from town, but I reckon the additional space and potential here would more than make up for the extra walk to the bars. The snag is the price, £122,500, £2,500 over budget.
Green sitting room.
It makes a change to our green carpet. First impressions, I really like it.
Yeah, I do.
Really like it.
Why?
Smart, movable in.
It probably contradicts everything we've said about the modern things because this has got a lot of period features.
It's considerably bigger than other houses that we've come from, but it's a fraction more expensive.
When I look at this property and compare it to what we've seen, I'm surprised how much more we would get for that little bit extra, that couple of grand extra.
Hold the front page. They've only seen the front room and already they think this is the best of the bunch.
We've got 3 bedrooms, all of them are generous size, plus the attic.
Yeah.
There's huge potential up there. It's boarded, there's power up there. You have a look that way. There's the bathroom, which is beautiful. In fact, why don't you guys explore?
This is a nice size.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think the 4-poster bed probably does overpower the bedroom a little bit. It's not our
It's a little
taste,
smaller
is
than
it?
it is, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so what do you think about the house then?
Personally, I think this is probably the one.
Yeah, I think it
I
probably
really
is
do
as well.
think it probably is.
So, what do you think?
I'm shocked, actually. I must admit, I am really, really shocked that this just for
He's
that
looking
little
for the
bit
catch,
extra.
and you're
Yeah,
looking for
I'm
the
waiting
problem,
for you to
why
say
it's so
that
cheap.
it's about to fall down or something like that.
No, not as far as we know. We've had a good look over it.
What about you, Ian?
Yeah, this is the one, actually.
By George, I think we've done it. Over the last 4 houses, we've managed to turn these boys from new build obsessives into house hunters looking to make sound financial decisions. I'm so proud of them.
But don't forget, this is a massive change of heart. Let's hope their newfound zeal for period properties doesn't evaporate overnight.
We've had a long, hard think about it last night and stuff, and I think we're still really keen to go back to the Far Cotton property.
Brilliant news, but remember it's £2,500 over budget. It's time to talk figures.
This road flooded in 1998. We've looked into the insurance issues, and they've taken a number of precautions, and the insurance here would be £32 a month.
So basically, that's barely higher than what it would be normally.
You did want to know what the council tax was. It's Band A, £768.
That's fantastic.
one of the cheap.
Everything you're telling me so far is making it more and more positive,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah, and
everything's sounding
appealing.
great. Yeah.
So far, so good. The boys seem happy with the finer points. Let's check out the bigger picture. I think one of the best aspects of this house is the potential to convert the attic space in the future.
We've got reasonable head height here now, and they've boarded it out and insulated it. So they've done a fair amount of work. Not going to be too complicated to take it forward, but it would give you a 4th bedroom.
So this house is future-proof. If they need more room in a few years' time, they can get it without the need to move, and the rest of the space really stacks up. But remember, it is £2,500 over their budget.
I'm really happy.
We're all very happy bunnies.
I'm over the moon. I really like this house, and hopefully you two will get us the right price on it.
Oh, we'd love to try.
With a 100% mortgage, £120,000 is Andrew and Ian's absolute maximum outlay.
So this is crunch time. We have to get the money off.
I've had an introductory chat with the agent, and I reckon that the vendor's expecting about 120. But I also think that we should try and use this buyer's market to your advantage, and we might try and shave a little bit from that.
Yeah.
Jonathan, good afternoon. It's Phil Spencer here. Hello. We've now had our chat. As far as the actual level of offer is concerned, they are minded to offer 119,000. Good luck, Jonathan. Thanks very much. Bye.
If the vendor says no, that's that. There's no more money in the kitty to go any higher. All we can do is wait.
That's Jonathan. Good luck, everyone. Hello. Jonathan, hi. Jonathan, can I put the phone down and discuss that with them now? And I'll give you a ring straight back. OK. Thanks. Doesn't get easy, doesn't it? Deal's yours. 119.
Really?
That's a great house. It's a whole house, a 3-bed house. I haven't got a 3-bed house.
Thank you very much, you both, really.
Well done.
Thank you.
And once the deal was done, there was no stopping them. They moved in 2 months later.
To be honest, after the boys' reaction to that first terraced house that we saw, I never thought they'd plump to buy a terraced house. I couldn't be more surprised, but I'm very eager to get back and see what they've done to their new home.
A year ago, Andrew had the worst end of the deal. He was working in Birmingham, and this move to Northampton meant a 2-hour daily commute. I'm dying to know whether he's still standing.
How's your commute going?
Really well. A new position come up in a new shop. For missing an hour work in Milton Keynes, which is about a 40-minute bus journey away.
That is fantastic. Now, I've got great hopes for what you've done to this house.
I think you like it. We've totally redecorated it all, so...
Totally redecorated?
We have. Everywhere's been redecorated.
I'm already impressed.
When they bought it, this house was a little dated, and Ian and Andrew didn't rest on their laurels. It seems a truckload of paint and yards of fabric have transformed the sitting room and the bedrooms, giving the cool, contemporary look that these two craved. Ah, the lads have come on a long way.
This is a transformation. I have to say, I am very, very impressed. It takes a lot to impress me. The green is certainly being eradicated.
Yes, definitely. That definitely wasn't to our taste.
So who is the DIY king?
Andrew did most of the work, I must say, and
Yeah,
his family.
my family
I did a little
helped out
bit,
as well.
but you did most of the work.
He was a good supervisor.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely, and I think we've made a big difference.
You have made a huge difference.
Well, as Ian has obviously been the chief tea maker up to now, I think it's Andrew's turn, and Ian can give me a spin upstairs.
Aha. Oh, wow. Now that's what I call a proper bed. It is beautiful.
This has obviously been a labour of love for Andrew, but I'm interested to find out whether our new build obsessive Ian has fallen for the charms of this little old terrace.
So, looking out, it's a terrace street.
Yes.
You were always rather after a semi-detached new build.
Yeah, I would still prefer a new build, but the house is quite nice. I'm happy with it now, but I would prefer a new build, definitely. I'd move to a new build tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Just why?
They're high maintenance, it's drafty, there's still
It's
lots...
not drafty. Look at that double glazing.
There's still lots of work to do.
Work to do? Well, for Andrew maybe. Honestly, you just can't please everybody.
I am very, very, very impressed.
Thank you.
Not only is the makeover impressive, in only a year the boys have transformed their fortunes.
The good news is that we've had the house valued and it has gone up to £126,000.
Oh, that is good news.
Now that's over 7,000 more than you paid for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great news that they've made money on the house. According to the agent, it's broken the ceiling of prices on the street. And in the future, they can still convert the loft to add even more value.
Anything you could do to the property to add value before you sell it, you must make sure that you do it.
So it's worth investigating.
Yeah.
The boys have outperformed the market and made their first successful investment. I'm proud of them. Time for a celebratory drink at their new local.
It was a big move, Birmingham to Northampton. How have you found that, swapping of friends and all of that kind of thing?
Well, my friends were here
Your
all the while
friends are here, yeah.
and I've got a good job, so I'm quite happy to come back, really.
I've got a different group of friends, I suppose, in a way, than I did before I came here. I still can go into Birmingham, it's only an hour up the road, so I still go out and, I'll go out and see my friends there, every so often. So it hasn't changed my life that much, to be honest. It just means I've got friends in two different places.
If someone said to you, what's the number one benefit that has come from buying that house, what would you say?
I know what it is. For me, it is being able to have your own freedom.
For me, it's living in Northampton, obviously, where I work, where my friends are, and where I'm happiest, I think, really, so yeah.
This is fantastic, a sound investment and a fabulous home. I love a happy ending.
Here's to the right decision and to buying your own home.
Yeah, cheers.
They heeded our advice, ignored the lure of the new build, and they've really added value to their house. They deserve a genuine pat on the back.